Hey guys, what's up? This is the boy who had seven. Yes, this is me in the flesh. I've been hearing from a lot of you guys that you want to see my face. I'll be honest with you. I think that comic books are a lot prettier than I am, but I'm excited to get started on this type of journey where I show my face. I got this cool new setup behind me where I get to put a lot of my collectibles together. If this is what I get out of showing my face, I'm all for it. Guys, we've got 50 books we still have to cover. We're going to start today, right, with Silver Surfer number 35, which is part of the Infinity Gauntlet series. So if you remember, during the last comic book, during my last video, we saw that Thanos has now been resurrected. He's back from the dead, and Death herself is the one that brought him back. And so right now he appears sitting on his teleportation device to the Silver Surfer, and the Silver Surfer says, "Who are you? Are you that thing that was in the casket?" And Thanos says, "Yes, I'm back in the land of the living, and I'm here." And the Silver Surfer says, "I don't understand." And Thanos says, "Well, I am here to explain that to you." This is really important comic. We're going to spend a little bit more time on it because we're going to get the whole plot of the Infinity Gauntlet series right here. So the next thing Thanos does is, remember, Death and I were talking about this great imbalance. Well, that's what I'm here to explain to you. Check out what the comic book says. It says, I'm here to explain about the great imbalance. In many ways, it is a metaphysical danger. Time, space, physical things, right? But one strangely more easily illustrated than explained. And so the next thing he does, he says, "Silver Surfer, hop up on my teleportation device. I'm going to show you rather than tell you what I'm talking about." And the Silver Surfer's like really weary. He's like, "I don't want to get on this guy's device, his transportation mode," but he does it. He gets on and says, "Look, I'm warning you, Thanos, don't play any tricks with me. My power comes from within, not from my cosmic board that I'm leaving behind." And Thanos says, "Don't worry about it." And all of a sudden, boom, they teleport. And when they teleport, they're teleported to Earth, and the Silver Surfer takes this as some type of attack. So he blasts Thanos with his hands, and Thanos just, look at this, guys. Thanos just sits there and says, "Are you through?" And the Silver Surfer says, yes. And so Thanos starts with this whole spiel. He says, "One of the ultimate truths is that life and death are but different sides of the same coin. One cannot exist without the other. Life and death, the way existence was meant to be." And the Silver Surfer says, "Well, it is like that." And Thanos says, "Not quite. I brought you here to Earth, a planet you're familiar with, to illuminate just that point." And he says, this planet is becoming criminally overpopulated. And then all of a sudden he teleports him again, and he takes him to Japan during rush hour. And so you see all these people, and Thanos is like, "Look at this. This planet's overpopulated." And then Silver Surfer says, "Come on, man. This is not indicative of the entire planet. This is just Japan during rush hour." And so he, boom, okay, oh yeah, well then let me show you this. And he teleports him again to this landfill that you see here. And he says, "Look, these humans produce garbage at an astounding rate. Each person in the United States alone creates nearly 2 tons of rubbish per year. This is a species that is rapidly burying itself in its own waste." And so the Silver Surfer's just sitting there like, come on. And boom, he teleports him again, and he shows him a refinery that's polluting the air. And then boom, he teleports him again, and he shows him an area that has nuclear waste. And then boom, he teleports him again to this scene where it's like the future and everything's destroyed and everybody's dead. And he says, "You know what? This is what the Earth is moving to." And the Silver Surfer says, "You're wrong. This is not what the Earth is going to. This is not what's going to happen. I don't agree with you whatsoever." And so Thanos says, "Okay, well, let me show you this then. It's not just the humans, but we're going to go boom." And he teleports him to another planet called Solaria. Look at these little creatures. They look like meerkats mixed with monkeys. They start playing with Thanos and Silver Surfer, not even scared of them. And Thanos says, "Look, these guys aren't even scared because they don't even have predators. And so all they do is eat and procreate all day long. And eventually they're going to have so many people on this planet can't sustain them. And so what's going to happen is they're going to have war, they're going to have cannibalism, and then they're going to become extinct." And see, what Death wants, Death needs a balance. She knows that there has to be life and there has to be death. And if you have an imbalance on one of them, what ends up happening is the scales tip, and then the scales tip the other way. And so what Thanos says is, look, if these guys overpopulate, one day they're going to just kill each other off, and then there'll be none of them left, and then Death won't be able to get a regular, constant flow of souls that die coming to her. And so that's what I'm here to fix. So look at this. He says, he teleports him away from Celeria, and he tells him, look, this is what I'm here to explain to you. And what I'm telling you is the way we're going to handle this problem is by euthanasia, by killing off 50% of the universe's population. Guys, there it is. There's the plot of the Infinity Gauntlet series. Death, has resurrected Thanos so he can go throughout the entire universe and kill half of every sentient being living. Animals, humans, anybody breathing and thinking, she wants half of them dead. And so the Silver Surfer says, there is no way I'm going to let this happen. I remember Death was saying that I could stand in your way, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to fight you, and I'm going to stop you. And then Thanos says, oh yeah? You're not going to stop me, and as a matter of fact, you're going to help me. And the Silver Surfer says, how am I going to help you? You're crazy. And Thanos says, you already have. Do you remember when I took you to Earth? Well, there's a bunch of germs in the atmosphere, and they got on your body. And because I teleported you straight to Celeria, now those germs have spread to the people of Celeria, and their bodies aren't used to those germs, and therefore those germs are going to kill them. And guess what? Also, while I was teleporting us everywhere, I manipulated the time stream, and now it's in the future of Celeria's history, and now about 50% of them are dead, and so you have a choice. You can either stop me and fight me right now, or you can go to Celeria and try to save the day. What are you gonna do? Well, guys, we know superheroes. What do they always do? They go to save people. And so the Silver Surfer stares at him for just a couple seconds and then shoots off through space to get to Celeria. When he gets there, this is what he finds. Look at how sad this is. You have this pile of dead little aliens. And he says, the situation here is worse than I ever feared. The stench of death and disease fills the air. So the Silver Surfer is just devastated because he helped do this. He ends up creating an antibody from his cosmic powers. He touches one of the little guys, sends him off to touch 10 other guys, who touch 10 other guys, and this antibody spreads throughout the population, and he's able to save them. And he's ready. He helps bury them. He's about to leave, and one of them tells him, "Hey, stop! You had a part in this. You had a part in killing half of all the beings on this planet." And the Silver Surfer just feels horrible, and he's like, "I've got to make a penance for this. I've got to repent and make it right. I'm gonna fight Thanos. I'm gonna go out there and stop him. I let the devil outfox me, and I'm not gonna let him outfox me again." And so the Silver Surfer heads off into space looking for Thanos. That is the end of this book, but there's an epilogue, and this is epic. Check out this picture. It shows Kronos, okay, the father of the Eternals of Titan, and he is their god. And he now walks the corridors of a higher plane of existence. But Mad Thanos, who is one of his descendants, remember guys, Thanos is a Titan, and so his great-great-great-grandfather is this Kronos, okay? He says he has to stop Thanos because it's his responsibility, and therefore, boom, look at this picture. Once again, the soul is torn from its just rest. Somebody's coming back from the dead. The soul is reuniting with the body in a resurrection. The body comes from and is endowed with the strength of the universe because of what he must face, Thanos. He is power personified. Guys, who do you think it is? It is Drax the Destroyer. Thanos is back, so it's only right that Drax is back. Taking that picture, taking those muscles and that power, taking that hole behind him where he just crawled out of. Drax the Destroyer is back, and he's looking for Thanos, and that's the end of book 35. All right, so now we're on to Silver Surfer number 36. We've got some really cool stuff in here. This one is called The Lesson, ? And so we're going to see what kind of lesson the Silver Surfer learns. The first thing that we see is that he's flying towards Earth on his cosmic board, and there's these eyes of somebody that's narrating the comic, watching him and talking about watching him. The Silver Surfer heads straight into the Avengers mansion, which is really cool, guys. The Avengers, right? We love them. And he gets in there, he sets off an alarm, and the first person that he comes in contact with is She-Hulk. Remember, I mentioned this earlier? Well, check this out. She-Hulk's like, hey, stop there, intruder. And the Silver Surfer's like, hey, I need help. He's a little bit frantic. I need to talk to somebody. And She-Hulk's like, I said stop. And she goes to clock him right in the face. And look at him. He doesn't even flinch. It doesn't even move him. He just stares at her. And all of a sudden we see one of my faves, Captain America, come in. He's like, hey, She-Hulk, calm down. What are you doing? This is Silver Surfer. He's a friend. And she's like, oh, that's Silver Surfer? Oops, my bad. And then Captain America is like, hey, get out of here and go study some files. You don't know what's going on. Silver Surfer and him get to talking. He tells him about Thanos and Thanos' resurrection. He wants some information on Thanos because he doesn't know him. He's not familiar with what's going on. And so this is where we get a really cool, quick history. And I want to read this to you guys. They're sitting down and Captain America's like, okay, this is what we have in our files. At some point, this is the first time we came in contact with Thanos, and I'm reading it here for you. It says, we sort of inherited this headache. Originally, Thanos was the late Captain Marvel's problem, but he proved to be more than the Kree warrior and his Titan allies could handle alone. Thanos was backed by an army of Galactus' mercenaries and was always spinning some sort of universe-threatening plot. His schemes finally escalated to the point where he gained possession of the Cosmic Cube. You guys know the Cosmic Cube, and Astro Aladdin's lamp. That's when we Avengers were pulled into the case. You can go back and read these stories. I will do a video on these one of these days real soon. But check this out. He continues, Thanos used the Cosmic Cube to turn himself into God. He became everything in the universe, and everything was him. That imaginative little move made him darn well unstoppable. Fortunately, we didn't give him time to adjust to his omnipotent state of being. The Avengers and I and some of our friends turned on the juice, and eventually we found the break we so desperately needed. So this is what happens. They realized that the Cosmic Cube and Thanos were connected. Captain Marvel breaks the Cosmic Cube, that, like you see here, and they save the day. But guess what? That wasn't it. They've also fought him another time, and he says this time a cosmic being originally known as him, my fave, or Adam Warlock, brought Thanos back to our attention. Only this time Thanos didn't want to rule the universe, he wanted to destroy it. Apparently Thanos had been hopping around the heavens collecting his little beauties. And then look guys here, boom, 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 the soul gems. So Thanos has been after the soul gems before, but yet we see him in the movie with the gauntlet on with the gems on it. Interesting. So he's like, you know about the soul gems? Yeah, I've dealt with them before. And so he says, apparently Thanos planned to use the near limitless power of the combined gems to blow the stars from the ether one at a time. His motivation, some kind of entropy trip he was on. I don't pretend to understand it. This is really cool. Look at all these characters here. This time the Avengers, The Thing, Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, and Adam Warlock faced down Thanos. It was a real cosmic Donnybrook, laugh out loud. Earth heroes against all alien hordes. Thanos actually physically went toe-to-toe with both Thor and The Thing. They battled, guys. Thor and Mjolnir smacking him on the face, right? The Thing fighting, that's a powerful battle. But even, then it says Adam Warlock was killed in the battle. Adam Warlock died in that battle. But even in death, Warlock refused to let Thanos gain his dark victory. Check this out. Somehow Warlock's spirit returned through the soul gems to thwart the Titan's scheme. I never saw anything quite like it, and I hope I never will again. Warlock's ghost turned Thanos into stone as cold and hard as the Titan's heart had been. And there he is. He wins the day, and that is the history that Captain America gives Silver Surfer, tells him about their battles, and he says, if you want to know any more, that's all I know about Thanos. You need to go find Mentor, who lives on the planet Titan, and you need to go find him. He's actually Thanos' dad. And so the Silver Surfer's, all right, I'm out of here. He takes off, and here's where the lesson part comes in. Guys, he runs into this person who's the Impossible Man. Look at him, right? This guy, he never listens. He's always joking. He's totally frustrating and infuriating, but there's a little cool thing, couple cool things here I want to show you. He's like, the Impossible Man, no, not now. And all of a sudden turns into a pie and slams him in the face. And then he throws him down onto Mars. He's like, oh, I like the way you look. You're red. And he's like, well, I've got a lesson to tell you. And he pop, turns into somebody else. Pop, turns into a light bulb. Pop, turns into some binoculars. You know, he just keeps popping back and forth, not letting the Silver Surfer think. And he's like, I've got to teach you something. I've got to tell you something. Guess what? Thanos is a real mean, ugly guy, and you're kind of mean, and you're not funny at all. But he's even more mean than you, and even more unfunnier than you. And so the Silver Surfer's like, get to the point. And like, check this out. He turns into Frankenstein. He turns into Charlie Chaplin. He turns into Yoda. And he's like, it's a simple matter of mathematics. Thanos outgrosses you in the gross out competition. And so the Silver Surfer is getting really angry. He kind of yells at him, puts a hole through his body. The Silver Surfer is like, oh my gosh, what have I done? Did I kill you? And the Impossible Man gets up and gives him a big old smack on the lips. And he's like, no, but that's what I'm trying to tell you. You need to lighten up. You're coming onto something that is stronger and powerful and meaner than you. And if you go out head to head, you're going to lose. Let me give you this advice. Lighten up. And that is the lesson. He hands him a pie and he's like, let me see if you learned your lesson. The Silver Surfer throws it in his face. Lesson learned. And that is the end of book number 36. Hopefully he got the lesson. Really cool history on Thanos and what battles they've been in together. And on to book 37. Okay, on to book number 37. There are 3 things in this book that we want to go over really quickly. The first thing is that Silver Surfer is trying to track Thanos. And he's trying to see if he can use the electromagnetic vision to find some emissions that Thanos left behind on his teleportation device. That doesn't work, so he goes even lower and lower and lower until he gets to subatomic level. He finds this like pink strip that he's able to follow Thanos, but he realizes Thanos must have made a whole bunch of traces for him to trick him. He's like, I don't have time to go looking for him, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go talk to his dad like Captain America told me, and I'm going to talk to a mentor on the planet Titan and see what's going on, see if I can come up with any more information. So the next thing that you see here is mentor, and that's the second thing that I want you guys to learn about, is we get a little bit more history about who Thanos is and how evil he really is. And mentor begins to tell him, you know, this guy has always been really smart and really tricky. And when he was 10 years old, his mom died, and we thought it was part of the thing that made him so angry and so evil. But later on in life, we actually found out that at 10 years old, he killed his own mom. That's crazy. Thanos is wicked evil, right? The next thing that we know, he killed some other people. He ended up running out and leaving the planet and going to the outer rim, and he gathers an army there and he begins to battle and learn his powers. And because it's such a dangerous, crazy place, he gets stronger and stronger and stronger until he comes back and he conquers the planet. So we learn that Thanos is pretty smart, he's pretty strong, he's pretty evil. We see how that kind of grows here, and as you see these pictures, you recognize the things that Thanos has gone through. There's a lot of history, and that's what I was telling you in my first video. You get to see these stories, and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to own those comics so I can read those stories. It gets exciting. So the third thing that I want you to know here is Drax shows up, and Drax comes in and he busts his way in, as you guys see here, and he's like, where is Thanos? And we realize that Drax isn't very intelligent, and he just can keep saying, where is Thanos? Well, the guy that Kronos used to resurrect his body, the last time Drax was in it, he was killed because he became brain dead. And so he's been resurrected, but he's not that smart anymore. And so we see him just asking, like, where's Thanos? Where's Thanos? And he starts fighting the Silver Surfer, and the Silver Surfer's like, I've got to get out of here. I don't got time for this. And look at Drax just grabs onto his cosmic board. The Silver Surfer is so fast, guys, that just by him moving on his board, it would rip out of anybody's hands. But Drax is power personified, right? He is literally, within his being, he has the power of all the universe. This dude is strong. He holds onto the board. The Silver Surfer tries to reverse and shake him off. He can't do it, so he takes him into the sun, tries to burn him, and then he's like, do you even feel any pain? And he's like, only the aching desire to see Thanos dead. So he comes up with this idea because he remembers the Impossible Man, and he's like, you know what? I need to change my strategy up. I can't just keep going at things head on. I'm going to take him to Earth, and I am going to show him this wondrous device that it's called the information machine. And so he heads to Earth and he goes to the Fantastic Four headquarters. This is really cool. Check it out. And Johnny's there. And he's like, hey, can I borrow your information machine? And so he takes Drax into a room with a TV and he starts to show him television. And as you see here, there's all these different shows like I Love Lucy. Even Superman makes a little appearance here. Faster than a speeding bullet, able to leap over the top of a building in a single bound, right? And so Drax is watching all these shows, and then all of a sudden, Silver Surfer pulls a quickie and he's gone. Okay? And so that is the end of book number 37. Okay, so book number 38, we have some cool stuff that we need to go over here, and then that will be it for this video today. Look, check this out. So the first person that we see is Nebula. It's really important. If you guys remember from Infinity Gauntlet book number 6, Nebula is holding up, choking Thanos. This is important. She's on her spaceship. She's in command. We find out that this is Thanos' old spaceship that he used to conquer the galaxy with. She's in charge now, and all of a sudden one of her guys like, hey, something's coming through. Something's pointed right on our deck, and all of a sudden Thanos just teleports right into their deck, and he's like, who took over my ship? Who thinks they're in charge? I'm in charge. I'm back. Nebula's like, there's no way you're Thanos. He's dead. I'm in charge. Kill him. She tells her first lieutenant to try to kill Thanos. Thanos blasts him. He looks at Nebula and he's like, you've tried to take over. You're trying to be an upstart and take my place, and therefore I'm going to destroy you and it's going to hurt. And he blasts her with the beams from his eyes. And look at this, guys. He sets her on fire. And she begins to scream and run from the room. Look at that. And he tells one of the other guy, go after her and dispose of her body. I'm sick of Nebula. And so all of a sudden you see her running and she gets put out of fire, and this guy finds her. He picks her up and says, you're not dead. You're going to make it. I'm going to hide you. That's important. Remember that. The next thing that we see is Death shows up. And so Thanos is like, okay, she's calling me. I need to go talk with her. So he teleports with Death to her throne and to the Hall of Death. And then again, her lackeys speak for her. And they're like, hey, Mistress Death wants to know why you're not about doing the good work she assigned you. Why aren't you killing half of everybody in the universe? And so here's where the plot thickens. Check this out. So cool. This is very important to the Infinity Gauntlet series. Again, Thanos says, look, each move must be played with consummate skill and care. I have devised a method with which to deal the Silver Surfer out of this contest. The strategy came to me while staring deeply into the Infinity Well. The Infinity Well is important, guys. He was staring into this Infinity Well and learning secrets and truths from it. And he says, which should come at no surprise, for the answer to all questions are to be found within the infinite. And so now you see that he's doing something because a Silver Surfer was said to have been able to stop him. He's doing something to get him out of the picture. He's also learning things from this Infinity Well. Okay? So the next thing we see is the surfers going throughout space looking for Thanos, and all of a sudden Thanos appears to him. Look at this. He appears behind him and says, you know what? I'm ready. We got to meet. I'm sick and tired of you. There's this planet that I want you to meet me on, Pyraxlon. Come here and we're going to battle it out. Well, the Silver Surfer's like, okay, I know this planet. They have found a way to have sustainable energy by tapping into their core. Maybe if Thanos blows this planet up, it's a way he's going to kill half of the people in the universe. I've got to go stop him. So he flies to this planet, which is important. He gets into this planet. He finds Thanos by following that subatomic level. He sees Thanos sitting there on his teleportation throne, and they begin to fight. And so they start blasting each other. Thanos is teleporting behind him. He's trying to hit him. And then look at this right here. When I first saw this, I'm like, what the heck? Why is Thanos saying, no, please, and crying? And is he going to kill him? And the Silver Surfer just blasts him away. And you see this humongous explosion. And the next thing that he knows is, look, there's bones of Thanos. He's dead. He's like, this was not my intention, the Silver Surfer says this. It was not meant to end like this. But perhaps this is the only way it could end. evil Thanos played with forces beyond mortal reckoning. And so he's like, you know what? I've got to put this body in a coffin. And I'm gonna take it to his dad. Maybe this will give his dad some kind of closure. And then the Silver Surfer's like, I did it. I beat Thanos. It's over. And then we have the last page. And we have Thanos sitting here saying, let it be known that the reports of my demise have been grossly exaggerated. But shh, don't let the Silver Surfer in on the secret. He'd be crushed to know that it's the body of Gator, Nebula's personal bodyguard. Remember the guy that tried to kill Thanos earlier? Well, what he did is he altered his body to look just like himself, to look just like Thanos. He took him to that planet, set him up on a fake transportation device, and that's why when the Silver Surfer found who he thought was Thanos, it was actually this guy placed there, and he was going to blast him away. This guy's crying, saying, please no, because he knows he's about to die. Guys, again, for the second time, the Silver Surfer has been outfoxed by the devil, and again, he's killed for him. See, Mentor said this guy is so intelligent and so evil that he's going to outfox you every time. And the Silver Surfer is not listening to the Impossible Man or that premonition that he had back in book number 34, where he took on this baby to save it and it grew and got bigger than him. Now, the Silver Surfer thinks he's dead and he's out of the picture, and guess what Thanos is going to go after in the next book, which is Infinity Quest number 1 and number 2. Thanos Quest 1 and 2. He's going to go after the Infinity Gems. So guys, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed these comic books. They're so cool, so many awesome things in them. Please, guys, I'm making these videos so you can see what's going on, but go pick them up. There's so much that I didn't get to cover because it would take hours to do it, and I'm going book by book because it's different than everything else that's out there. I want you to see how important each book is and how cool it is to pick up a comic book and to just learn from one story at a time. Imagine having to wait back in the days 2 weeks or a month for the next one to come out. Well, you don't have to do that now. Check them out. These books are amazing. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you can get notifications when my next video comes out. I'm going to try to be doing them a lot quicker for you guys so you can get all this information. Also, comment down below. Let me know what you think about the new setup. Let me know what you think about Thanos tricking a Silver Surfer so many times. I appreciate you guys watching. Have a great night. Talk to you later.